All right.
Yeah.
Meow. Meow. What's your topic?
Meow.
Same thing it would have been for the last few weeks.
I hear a horde of cats coming from Med's microphone.
Meow. Meow.
We got too many.
I've been playing Dragon Quest 11.
I was going to
Have
say
you now?
one.
No.
You've been playing a 4-hour game for months.
months. It's got to really play
That's
every
longer than 4
aspect
hours.
of it.
So yeah, Dragon Quest 11 came out in July 29th, 2017 in Japan.
1 year later.
Yeah, over
13 months later.
September
I guess
4th.
we should port this over.
September 4th, 2018. We got it over here, and I've been loving it ever since. I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan. It's
one of your
done by
favorite
Square
game
Enix.
series, correct? If not your
Probably,
favorite?
yeah. One of my favorite, definitely one of my favorite series. I mean, it was basically it was like the first real Japanese RPG I played, and it's the first Japanese RPG basically to exist.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior, Dragon Warrior over here, Dragon Quest 1 was like basically what created the foundation for JRPGs as we know them. But yeah, so Dragon Quest, I got it for the PS4. It's also on the PC, which I think is like a first really for the series. But
they finally said they're working on the Switch port too.
Yeah, I saw that too.
We promise, guys, it's coming in like a year.
By the time the new Switch is out, right?
Exactly. The
That's the news of
the
today.
last half of 2019. They're doing a new Switch model, but anyways,
supposedly. But yeah, so you play the Child of Destiny, the Luminary,
named
basically.
Hero,
right?
As all the Dragon Quest protagonists are.
You are the descendant of, of Dragon Quest 3, the main character of, which was the prequel to 1 and 2, so the first in the chronological stuff, but which is, what is it?
I know him as Lodo.
Right, I know him as
Edric.
Lodo. Edric, yes, it's Edric, and which is they finally translated it over to in this version, because the early stuff we got still translated it to Roto. But yeah, so it starts off with you being born, basically, and
little Trunks, baby.
Right, and then then monsters attack, and you get Noah down the river, and are adopted by this nice old, basically Grandpa Gohan from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Well, because it's Akira Toriyama does the character design for the Dragon Quest series, so
yeah.
And so upon your 16th birthday, after you complete the tutorial, which is you going through the
coming of age ceremony,
basically, yeah. Your destiny is revealed to you, and you are told to go see the king, because he'll surely help you.
The beginning of every Dragon Quest game, basically,
right.
Go see the king.
And yeah, the twist is the king says you are the bringer of darkness, the dark spawn, and you are to be killed, or at least imprisoned, and then killed, I think. But so yeah, which is in the opening. They kind of
it's like the first
in the
hour
opening
in the game,
cinematic,
basically.
even though they show that in the opening cinematic.
Yeah,
is the king and his people like attacking you basically on horseback. But yeah, so that's the opening, and then it goes on. It's your ultimate quest, as in any Dragon Quest game, is to save the world from evil. They're all like that basically, and this is the same but just done differently. And they do a nice, they lampshade the go see the king thing is amusing, and but
that's how you get your first party member.
Yep. So the game is, I guess, so the main story is like anywhere from 40 to 60 hours, or like what they call the main story. Depending on like how much you grind and do side quests and stuff.
That's my problem.
There's also a post game, which the game doesn't even tell you. I'm sure some people don't even know
Weird.
about it and just like, oh, it said, it ended. And then it took me back to the title screen. I'm done playing. But you really are supposed to continue playing that save file that had you save at the end. And then you get a whole nother third of the game.
Wow, it's that much?
It's probably about 20 hours ish.
Nice.
It's a sizable post game. And yeah, I've loved this game. It's the most Dragon Quest game I think ever. Which I think the director or someone even was like, we distilled everything about Dragon Quest into this game.
Spread it out.
True.
It's probably why the Japanese love it so much.
Yeah. I mean, Dragon Quest over there is beloved.
Yeah.
Like, there's even the rumor of why they release on Saturdays is because
People call out.
People,
So
call
many
out
people.
from work and school and skip to go get the game. So that's why they only release on Saturdays now. So
Yeah, it's I mean the system is very much still like Dragon Quest doesn't do a lot with changing its system across the
Right.
games. They'll do like a little bit of different
Well,
stuff, but it
yeah.
is very much like you have
they will add
abilities.
things. Like I think it's 4 or whatever had monster catching, which basically laid the foundation for
Yeah.
Pokemon.
3 had the job system.
And had marriage in the games where multiple partners you can marry. I think it had 3 choices where you would
Did it ever-
marry and actually raise a family.
Did it change a lot of the story at all, or was it kind of more of a side thing?
What?
The marriage part.
I actually haven't played that one, so I can't speak to how much it changed, but I just know. I mean that's like an old that was 4 I think, which would have been originally on
NES.
Yeah, NES. So
Oh.
I don't know how much it changed, but you at least had different.
Probably not a
characters.
lot for the NES,
Right.
but
Was it ever repeated again? Like, do they keep
Not
adding
like that.
small things, or
No, each one will
Really?
have like its own. Well,
Okay.
sort of. Like they did bring back some form of monster catching in 8 that you
Okay.
could summon into a fight for you as well. And
Mhm.
actually, the monster catching thing became its own series, Dragon Quest Monsters, which I've played the first, second, and then the first 1 and 2 of the Joker series, which we didn't get the third one because they also don't localize all their games over here, which is very sad. And I'm just glad we got this one.
yeah.
And like 7 kind of feels different too. It involves a lot of time travel, like which is not in like the others, like going back and forth a lot.
Yeah, I think you do it once in Dragon Quest 1.
Yeah. Actually, you haven't played 7, right? Obs?
No, I have not. I've only played 1, 2, 3, and 8.
You might like 7 just because of the extensive job
I love job
system
systems.
it has. So it has a bunch of normal jobs, like that you would then level up and get like advanced version of those jobs. But it
Mhm.
also has monster jobs,
Yeah.
where like every type of monster has its own job that you can then get and learn.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, anyway, that's a tangent. This one doesn't really. This one again just kind of refines all of Dragon Quest and just has like the very basics, but done very well. Like, it is turn based. They did add something so that you could walk around or move around in the fight,
Yeah.
but it doesn't do anything.
No, it's just
It's
something to
for fun. I turned it off.
do. I do it, so
It has like a crafting system, which I think is definitely an upgrade from 8's, where 8's took real time to craft, or I think it may have been based on the number of steps you took.
yeah,
to,
it was something like
craft.
that.
This one, you just it's like its own mini game of hammering out the item. Like there's like a thing you bash until it gets into the sweet spot, basically.
Yep, and you got different kinds of flourishes you can do and stuff.
Yep. But at its heart, it's just a traditional Japanese RPG, which is, I mean, good and bad, I guess, for some people. Like, it's no Persona 5, right? It also is a lot more lighthearted, like, than your traditional, or like not your traditional, but like the series like Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
or
your
Persona or
typical
whatever.
JRPG.
Especially like your current ones. Like these days, you get a lot more like gritty stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one has like there's some darkness to it, but there's always going to be a lighthearted tone, especially because just the monster names. Like
I love the monster designs, or
Yeah.
like some of the best like in any series. They're because it's all Akira Toriyama. They're just adorable. I love the
Right.
cucumber guys. My favorite one. I can't Cruelcumber. I think is his name.
something like that. The
They're all
localization
puns.
team did amazing work. Like there's a boar that wears basically a large witch hat, which honestly we have a better name than the Japanese version. The Japanese translation is basically just big hat.
Yeah.
Ours is like the first one I think is ham shanwich, which is sham witch.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it sounds like sandwich. So yeah.
Mhm.
It's just, and then there's like a robotic egg that walks around, and it's eggs. Eggs. Now I'm tripping over the word, but it's
Exoskeleton.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of Japanese, they love puns, and they kind of took that. They brought
Sometimes
that
it's
over.
hard to translate wordplay over to English.
I'm just surprised at how good they've done with like. It's not going to be exactly the same name as the Japanese version, but they definitely kept the.
I think it took so long too because they had the Japanese version doesn't have any voice acting at all, and the English does. They're actually for the next version adding in Japanese voice acting apparently.
Yeah, I heard about that. But yeah, they've always been silent, which I mean, I guess we've only ever had 8, right? I think 8's the only one with voice acting.
9 came out over here too, didn't it?
Yep, but it was on the 3DS.
Yeah, and then we never got 10, which was an MMO.
Right.
A Wii MMO.
Yeah.
There's something you never thought you would ever hear. A MMO on the Nintendo Wii.
I mean, I guess if anything was going to do super well, that like a Wii MMO, it would have been Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we haven't. So 8 was the last Western, or no, I mean 9 was the last major release, and that was quite a while ago.
5 years, 4 or 5 years, I think. I mean, it's no FF13 to 15 gap.
No. We got it in 2010, so 8 years.
Oh God, it was that long ago.
Yeah. They've had quite a few.
I remember when it came out.
But again, they don't. We don't get a lot of the spin-offs.
Yeah.
Actually,
Dragon Quest Builders.
Some people thought that we might not get the localization because of that sham witch, the boar with the witch hat. Every spin-off, every game that it has been in so far before 11, we have never gotten.
It's the curse of the sham witch.
Right, that's what people were thought. Big Hat was cursing the localization, but we finally got it.
He's here. He's here, folks.
Yeah. Oh, and they each character, you end up with like at least quite a few party members, which more than 8 had only 4, well, including the hero. This one's got 7, which I mean, or it takes like I think 15 hours ish to get your last 2 party
I'm like
members.
20 hours in, and I think I'm about to get the last 2.
How many people can you have a party at a time? Like a 3-person party?
4. You sometimes have guests.
You can't, yeah, and then which guests act independently and can't die.
Do they take up one of your slots?
No.
Oh, thank God.
So
Okay.
you could if you have 4 people and a guest, there are 5 people on screen.
Also,
that is the way every game should do it.
Yeah.
By the way.
Right?
I really hate when games do that. That was like one of my biggest complaints for Final Fantasy Tactics was that like when you got a guest, they took up a slot. So if you wanted to build somebody, they were like, "Nope, you have to deal with this guest."
You can also swap in characters.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Sort of like
I'll
Final
love-
Fantasy X.
Oh,
It's a little different,
But,
it's not
yeah.
as quick.
Right.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
it's
interesting.
smarter to swap in people's whose not turn it is right now. Because if you switch out the person's whose turn it is, it will just go to the next person and you won't get a turn. And each character has, I think, at least, well, the mages only have 2, but like the pure mages, but everyone else has like at least three different weapons you can equip. Oh, I guess the hero also only has 2, but yeah, most characters have like 3 different weapons, which all act differently. Like there's one character, Sylvando, who can have
He has a
swords, which
remember
are
correctly.
like like swords are kind of like just your all rounder. They're good at speed and damage, and their skills are just they wide varying or whatever that kind of just work in a lot of different situations. He also can do whips, which can attack a group of enemies, hitting them all at the same time with weapon drop off damage as it goes down the line, but also can inflict status effects and debuff type things. And then knives, which do a lot of damage to things that have already been debuffed. And then they also will have other ability type skills you can learn, which his other, like he can also learn I'm trying to remember what it's called. Basically, you can learn other non-weapon related abilities. Can't remember the names off the top of my head, but there's a lot going on, which is why OBS is taking forever to play the game.
He's got a
trying to
lot.
grind
It's
everything.
the license grid.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I gotta unlock all these nodes. I gotta get these skills. I can't stop.
It's kind of like well, I guess I don't know. The world layout is kind of 12-esque, where it's giant. You know, you can wander around a giant area, but then it like will. There's a point where you go through and move on to the next area. It loads in the next area.
Yeah, very much like 12.
Oh, actually, the biggest quality of life thing in it is monsters are on the map that you can just walk around, basically. I love that in games.
Yeah.
I don't need random encounters.
Yeah, and it just makes it easier for stuff like speed runs and stuff too. When you don't want to fight, you're not forced to do it.
It also means I am always underleveled.
Yeah.
Like whenever I get a new character, they're always like 5 levels over my guy.
It's extremely easy to dodge encounters. Yeah, we were talking about that a few weeks ago. You were always like way underleveled. I was always like 2 or 3 levels higher than the people I get in my party. So.
Yeah, because he just grinds. I don't grind, and you don't really need to grind, especially.
No, it's not hard at all.
It's got auto battling or sort of things, which you can set orders to like fight wisely is like the default or sort of.
Oh man, I take control of my characters.
Or you can tell them no, don't use any MP, so they just basically auto attack sort of, or use unlimited use items if they've got any. And then there are just some go all out, where they will just use all their most expensive and hard hitting abilities, or you can take individual control over. But like when I'm going through just like levels, I'll often just set it to fight wisely and let them do that for me. Like I'll take control in like the important battles. There are, I think, is it 80? I think it might be like 80 different side quests throughout the entire game. Which, I mean, they're usually like, go to this area and get fight this person to get the thing. Or kill the monster with certain powers. Or,
bring me the item. Talk to this person. Stuff like that.
Yeah, nothing too extensive. There are some that are like more involved. Like there are some side quests that don't involve like the listed quests. That they're like in the post game. There's one in particular that you have to go. They're like, man, it'd be sure cool if we could do this thing and with these people. And then you go find the people. Like that's not tracked anywhere. And you go to like a few different areas, and each area involves like doing a thing. So there are some more involved side quests, but a lot of them are, very simple and quick. It's also laid out so that each town you go to basically has its own story going on, that you kind of its own problem that you need to solve. So it's almost like episodic in a way and then once you complete that episode, you move on to the next one. And it's very contained, but will often, link back to the main story at hand. I love it. It's really good. I have a lot of fondness for Dragon Quest series, and there's a lot of things that, there's so many elements that are very familiar, like the monster design and everything. Abilities are the same between them. There are certain things between Final Fantasies that you kind of see, there's usually
spells,
chocobo,
monsters.
Certain things, but basically there's more, you can see a lot more of connection between the different Dragon Quests than Final Fantasy, which is kind of, they're both Square Enix now, so they can do different things with the different series.
Yep, it's their old school traditional JRPG series.
People who have loved Dragon Quest, it's just good for because you get to see all that stuff, but it's also good if you want just a traditional JRPG and haven't really played any.
Yeah, I'd say it's an easy Dragon Quest to start with and get into.
Yeah, exactly. As long as the length isn't a problem for you.
If you don't mind long games.
If you're getting into JRPGs, you're kind of already going with that. You already kind of know that's a thing. The music isn't great.
It's fine.
Some of it's. I think the tracks are good. But I think there's it gets overly repetitive. There's not enough music for the length of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the composer is not a great guy professionally and personally. He's he wants to go back to pre-World War II imperialist Japan.
Oh my gosh.
And he hates the West, so we only get the MIDI versions of his songs in the game's localizations.
They have the mod on the PC version.
Yep, someone made a mod so that you can get the orchestra versions, like the Japanese releases. Which I wouldn't be surprised if that disappears soon. But just trying to think of things that weren't great. Some of the voices aren't amazing. I think I liked all of the characters, voice act.
The main cast.
There was only there were only a handful of voices that I really didn't like. So each town and type of people have their own visually and maybe vocally culture. Each town is stylized in its own way.
There's Egypt,
and a lot of them will have a
Egypt,
different
Middle Eastern
accent. Yeah. There's a lot more Asian influences in this game than any other Dragon Quest, which is interesting. Ob's waifu wields a Naginata base form in her base weapon. But there's one town that only speaks in haiku.
What?
Yeah, all of everything they do
is just haiku based.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's actually
rough life to live.
But it's just a way to give each town a personality, basically.
So if somebody's on fire and they're shouting, "Help me! I'm on fire," they're not going to get any help because they didn't haiku it.
It's never explicitly said that they have to speak in haiku. They just all do. It just comes natural to them, I guess. If they were on fire, they would somehow figure out a way to say that in a haiku form. It's secondhand.
My body burns. Somebody fetch me some water. Seriously, help me.
Yeah. And then there's another race. I guess there are mermaids in the game, and the voice I have the worst time with is a mermaid. But they also speak I don't think it's iambic pentameter, but it's something like that, where they also have their own.
There's the one town that talks in nothing but haiku.
We just said all of that. We were gone. Yeah, we were making fun of that, but
I was just wondering if people, if they're on fire, do they also still speak in haiku, or do they drop that?
It's really weird.
Yeah. So they do like and then each I'm trying to think. So yeah, I mean, but mostly I like the voice acting and stuff. I think it's very interesting that they've decided, we get it, but the Japanese don't, at least not initially. I like most of the your class or party members. One in particular. Do you have the two mages, the twin mages?
Yes.
There's the healer of the two.
Selena.
I think.
Serena.
Selena.
Yeah. I think it's Serena.
Whose Japanese name is Senya. She has like almost no characterization up until the end of the main story.
Really?
Yeah, she's basically just a warm body, is what I heard saw someone describe her as for most of the game. But outside of that, I pretty much liked everyone else. So that's pretty good when you have a party, a cast of that size.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've put 100 hours into it, I believe.
Holy moly!
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, that's in a month. I mean, when you do it in a week, Mal, come talk to me.
Plus, that's not an exact time because sometimes I'll like leave it running while I go get dinner or something.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I've probably put about 90 hours into beating the game entirely. So, yeah. I grind out. I was earlier. Me and Obs talked about it. I grind out items, and he grinds out like levels. So
yeah,
I do a bunch of the side quests to get the strongest items, and that's what lets me stay low level, basically. But yeah,
I just want to fill that license for stuff.
I don't care about it.
I've got like 20 hours in the game, and I don't even have all the party members yet. So
yeah. It's gonna be a long one for you if you don't learn.
I'll probably
keep going.
I'll probably be playing it till the end of the year, probably. So
on and off.
Yeah, I play it basically on the weekends. Was what I was telling you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I probably play a few hours on Saturday and a few hours on Sunday. My weekends have been pretty busy because football, and we've been running Werewolf on Sundays, so I haven't got a whole lot of time for gaming.
It's just been a very comforting game for me. Like.
It is. It's a very laid back, chill game.
Yeah, it's very chill, and it's already very familiar. Like as soon as I pick it up, basically, and
it's the perfect Switch game. That's why it's coming to Switch.
It doesn't do anything mind blowing, but it's just very solid, and it's the fundamentals basically, and I just love it.
And that's pretty much every Dragon Quest game is going to give you that.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely comfort in knowing kind of like addition.
Right. It's not like starting a new Final Fantasy and being like, okay, what am I
getting myself into for the next 40 hours?
Okay, time to learn a whole new game.
Boy bands. All right.
I hope this one's completed.
There's more than a hallway.
Oh, square.
Sure would be a shame if this game was just one giant linear path.
With female Cloud, am I right?
Am I right?
Who's the developer's insert waifu character?
I don't
so
know.
much so that he brought her into the real world in the canon game story.
Oh my god.
And she's now a Louis Vuitton model. But anyways, I could talk about Lightning all day. Anyway.